All right, ladies and gentlemen, Pints and Politics. We're here in the town of Southampton, Westhampton Beach, with none other than our illustrious Southampton Town GOP Committee Chairman, David Betts. How's it going, sir?
Good. How's everything?
Good. I got beer. We got great people in the building. We're here talking to you. How important is it, this election season?
Well, it's probably the most important election that I've been involved in a long, long time. A lot of things going on nationally and locally. And you know, it all begins locally. There's a lot of confusion in Washington about numbers and what doesn't cost anything and all that sort of stuff. And I have to say that that concerns me. Also concerns me locally because we need to make sure the right people end up in office. Nice level-headed people that can actually, when you ask them a question, will give you an answer. We've got some great candidates. Sonny Schermeyer, of course, for town clerk. We have Pat Gunn and Barbara Wilson for town justice. Ann Thomas and Sidney McNamara, they're our council candidates. And B.J. Carpenter is running for legislature. And on the trustee side, we have Ed Warner and Scott Horowitz, both incumbents. Bill Parrish is a new person on the scene, but he's been out here his whole life. And his uncle was a trustee at one point. And Bob Savage, also a local guy that knows a lot about what's going on. But the important thing is that everybody has to get out and vote. There's early voting. It starts on the 23rd.
Right.
It's at the Southampton College Gymnasium on Tuckahoe Road. So you've got early voting. But more importantly, if you're not around, you can easily go to our website, SH Town GOP, get an application for an absentee ballot, make sure you get that in. Well, local is it's just a word. So, for instance, Ray Tierney, who is running for Suffolk County District Attorney, very experienced career prosecutor, actually has spent time in the courtroom prosecuting people, MS-13, those kind of groups. He's actually put people like that away. So, he's running for Suffolk County District Attorney, but he's our local district attorney. So it's a little bit of a mix and match kind of thing, but he's the guy, and anybody talks to him, he actually knows what he's doing. He's actually spent time in a courtroom, and he's going to be a great district attorney. So local is a kind of a, you know,
it's one of those words.
It's misleading a little bit.
A little bit. Let us know where your eyesore is, right? Like, where's your eyesore?
There's a lot of them around town.
Yeah, there is.
And sometimes it's not just, you know, I think the eyesores these days are all the political signs all over town.
Yeah.
You know? And it's kind of telling because all the eyesores are in the hamlets again. You drive into the village, suddenly all those signs on the side of the road go away.
Yeah.
You know, they're on CPF properties, they're on Conic Land Trust land, they're on, you know, vacant lots, intersections. But there's very few in front of people's homes, I've noticed.
Interesting. Very interesting. So I'm curious, right? You're running for Southampton Town Council, and what makes one who has a successful business, who has a from the outside what looks like a very comfortable life, right? What makes one say, you know what? I want to complicate things by running for town council in the town of Southampton. What makes one do that?
Well, my kids, you know, I have two daughters, and I've always tried to instill in them the idea that you can't complain about something unless you try to fix it. So, grades, problems in school, it was always, well, what did you do to try to fix it? Don't complain to me, what did you do? And I can't ask my kids to do that and not do that myself. So, when they were in elementary school, we had this thing called Race to the Top, Common Core, and that's really where my activism began because I saw what was going on with my own kids, with my friends' kids. We all started talking. I started hosting forums in the town. We really got a whole bunch of group of people together, and they were from all different parties. It didn't matter what party you were at because your kid needed your help. And suddenly politics didn't matter. And we had Democrats and we had Republicans and we had third-party candidates. It didn't matter because our kids needed us to do something, and we did it. And we worked across party lines, and it was great. And it really showed me that you can work towards something. Now, I've seen all these signs around town lately that say, your town, your future. I think that's the wrong narrative.
Okay.
Because I think this is our town and it's our future. And until we start viewing it as ours instead of your own, you lose that sense of community when it's your town. It's not your town.
Wow.
It's my town, it's your town, it's our town.
So our would be the preferred, yeah.
In my mind, yes.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. If you guys can find a way to disagree with it being ours, I like the kind of when candidates say things or propose things, and I think this is going forward. You guys should try this, right? Try to think of the opposing view of what they're suggesting, right? So you're saying, let's say ours. What's the argument to that, right? Like, what's the logical argument?
My argument to yours is you're making it about yourself, and that's a very selfish thing to do. It's not your town, it's our town. Like when you go to the beach and you don't clean up after yourself, you're not polluting your town, you're polluting our beach.
Absolutely. So
you're leaving it for the next person.
So have you seen a lot of changes in this community over the last, let's say, because as a lifelong resident, right, I've been here maybe 13, 14 years now. And I'm learning new things every single day about this community, about the history of this community, how long it's been a community. Even I think I consider myself a patriot, right? So I'm really proud to explain to people how old the town of East Quogue is, and I take pride in that, right? So have you seen a lot of changes over the last, let's say, 20 years?
Absolutely.
And have these changes been good or bad?
I'll give you the biggest change.
Okay, go for
20
it.
years ago, when my husband and I looked for our first home, we went to the real estate agent and we said we want to look at houses under $100,000.
Wow.
Yeah, and we looked at quite a few.
There was more than one?
There was more than one, and the house that we bought 20 years ago for $117,000 in Hampton Bays, an almost identical house a block away is on the market currently for over $750,000.
So taxes is an issue here.
Tax is an issue.
Assessments are an
issue. I think we need to look at we really need to look at making assessments fair for everyone, not just residents or non-residents. It really needs to be fair for everybody because we need people to invest in our community. And when you put the burden on the others all the time, you know, and you know that they're funding a big portion of our schools and our infrastructure, and then you say, well, you know what, we're going to make you pay the biggest share of the taxes too. It's not fair.
No.
So it's, you know, I think we really need to look at assessments as far as school districts, because when there are school district taxes are 80% of your tax bill. So when you have discrepancies within a single school district, it's really felt because that's the largest portion of your tax bill.
Right.
So when some homes, I'll use East Quogue for instance, are being assessed, you know, and their assessed values are going up $10,000, $15,000 a year, and somebody else in the hamlet, their taxes only went up, you know, their assessed value only went up a couple $100. It's a big disparity in
Right.
the tax bill. So, and that's why when you go to a school budget meeting, they tell you, well, this is the anticipated tax rate. Oh, I love when they tell you, we're spending more, but the average $500,000 houses, you're going to see your taxes decrease $520. Has that ever happened to you?
Yeah. How do they support the campaign? How do they check it out?
McNamara4Southampton.com.
We're talking to some candidates, we're here talking to some concerned citizens, elected officials, and we are honored and blessed to be in the presence of Barbara Wilson, who is a candidate again for Southampton Town Justice.
I myself, because of being a judicial candidate, I'm not on Facebook. I don't use a lot of social media. It is really not recommended by the Committee on Judicial Conduct, and so I do stay off of social media. But I have had instances where people have told me they've looked it up, they've done research.
They've Googled it?
Yes, they've Googled it.
Has it worked?
Well, I always compare it with, this morning, you know, I happened to Google how to do brain surgery. So, and I'm very interested, and I think I know how to do it now after watching the YouTube
But I'm
and
not
the
gonna let you
Instagram.
do it to me.
But I don't think anybody would really be willing to let me do brain surgery on that. A lot of people probably wouldn't even want me to take a splinter out of their finger.
Right.
So I think it's the
Okay.
same way. You know, there's a reason why lawyers, we go through, a very stern protocol, and we are trained in law school. We learn many things. We learn how to apply the law, and we also have to keep very current on the law. Right now, with COVID and all the changes with bail reform and the amendments to the bail reform, it's been a challenge to stay current, and I have been able to do that, I'm proud to say, and it requires a lot. It requires a lot of reading, a lot of research, and a lot of paying attention to the law journal and a lot of other legal documents that are coming through, decisions that are being made every day to make sure you are current, which is important because just like that brain surgeon, you want to have the brain surgeon that is really up on the latest surgery.
Right.
And you don't want the judge to be applying the laws that were in 2016 either. You want the judge to be applying the laws that are current and relevant to today.
Right, right. So I have to ask this, and you're fully free to opt out, obviously, because. But how important is ethics and judicial ethics? We hear this word ethics thrown around a lot. Is that really important?
Ethics is extremely important, I think, especially when it comes to judicial candidates. And how you learn someone's ethics, I think that you look at their behavior, you look at what they've done, and yes, you can read some of the decisions, you can sit in the courtroom. I always encourage people to do that. The courtroom is open to all, at all times, unless of course there's some specialized cases where the courtroom of course has to be closed. Juveniles, children that are testifying. Reasons for those, yes, then there's reasons why the courtroom has to be closed. But otherwise the courtroom is always open for everyone to come and learn.
Wow.
And to see exactly what's happening. I think it's also important, if you look at a person's family. I'm from here. My entire life I've lived in Southampton. People know me. People know who Barbara Wilson is. People know who Barbara Wilson's parents were. People know who my grandparents were. So, there's no escaping, people knowing you here in this community.
Right.
Some people, yes, they may just come here and you may not know that. But me, I've been here my entire life. People know me and they know what I stand for.
How do they support the campaign? Let us
People
know
can
what
go to
that's on.
Friends of Barbara Wilson. They can submit questions. They can volunteer. They can, grab a sign, put it on their lawn. Whatever they feel is what they'd like to do to support me. But most importantly, I'd ask everyone to go out there and vote either November 2nd, or if you'd like to entertain the early voting, from October 23rd to October 30th. And of course, the absentees have already arrived. If someone needs an absentee, please make sure that you get it right away. The window for that is closing by next week. So I encourage everyone to get out there and vote for me, Barbara Wilson, for Southampton Town Judge. I have been there, I will remain there, I will do my job, and I will do it to the best of my ability every day with the highest ethics that you could only expect from a judicial candidate.
I'm sitting here with Southampton Town Trustee candidate, Mr. Bill Parrish. How are you doing today, sir?
Very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm good. I got beer. I got good folks here. We're at the VFW. It's beautiful. We got pizza. What more can you ask for, right? So let's talk about this trustee race. What made you want to run for trustee? What prompted you to do that?
I've always wanted to get involved in the community. From my upbringing, my father and my uncles always taught me, give back to the community.
What's some of the most interesting things that you found out as you've gotten in this race? Because I know for me, covering it and doing some of the social media stuff, learning about how important this ecosystem is here we have in the town has been eye-opening for me. So what's been some of the interesting things that you encountered?
The amount of people that have moved out into Southampton Township, both full-time and seasonal, has had an impact on our environment. And the quality of our water has suffered over the years due to the impact of the influx of people. The board has done a phenomenal job cleaning the waters, but we're not halfway there yet. There's a lot to do, and I'd like to help them do it.
Do you seafood? You're a seafood guy?
Love seafood. I grew up clamming, crabbing, fishing.
Okay, so is mayonnaise acceptable to have in tuna fish?
No mayonnaise in my tuna.
No, man. What about relish? I've been hearing this relish.
Relish? I do relish and mustard in tuna fish.
Okay, how come
I
you
like
do-
my tuna raw and sliced.
Okay.
Sushi, sashimi.
Okay. Is the sushi the rice part though?
Sushi is the rice and sashimi is just
The
the
fish.
piece of fish.
Yeah, I don't do any.
I get mixed up with the names of it. I just
Yeah.
like to eat it.
So how can people support the campaign? Let them know.
You can support the campaign by donating to Friends of William Parish. I'm running along with Scott Horowitz, Ed Warner Jr., and Bob Savage. We're running on the same ticket. We believe that we can make a difference, and we're dedicated to making Southampton a better place.
We're out here in beautiful Westhampton Beach, Southampton Town, New York. We've been having a good evening. Bill Hughes, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, right?
Being here so long, right? Do local elections hold any? Are they more important now than they've ever been with things the way that they are? Do you think things are like more imperative now for the locals to get involved?
Yes. It all starts at the town, the village level. This is where it starts. And how our government operates and how we spend money or don't spend money, what programs we're involved in, starts at the town level. So it is very important. It's stuff that impacts you and I directly. It's not something that's in Washington, D.C. How that town council votes, how the trustees act, impacts us directly at our beaches, in our bays, in all the hamlets in this town. So it's very, very important what happens locally.
No, absolutely. And we're here at the beautiful VFW Ball here in Westhampton Beach, and I have to ask, right? How important is it that we take care of our veteran population, and how important is our veteran population out here on the east end in the town of Southampton?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Suffolk County has the second largest veteran population in the United States.
Didn't know that, see?
Orange County, California, I think has the largest. So we in Suffolk County have a tremendous amount of veterans. This particular post is the largest membership post in Suffolk County. Even though we're kind of on the east end, this is a very large membership here. Very diverse membership, young, old, different ethnic backgrounds, men, women. So veterans are love their country. We love our country, and we vote, and it's important that we protect the things that we fought for. Very important to us.
No, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to come out. We're going to be here every Tuesday in October, pretty much, doing Pints and Politics at this beautiful VFW Hall, Westhampton Beach. If anybody wants to support the VFW, how do they do that, Bill? How do they come down here? Like, how does it work here at the VFW?
Well, we do have a website, VFW5350.org. Of course, we have a phone number here, but there's many ways. We have a turkey trot coming up, and it's going to be right at Kabreski Airport at 9 o'clock on Thanksgiving morning, and we're done by 10 o'clock. There's numerous different ways. They can support the programs that we have in school, Voice of Democracy, Patriots Pen, that are programs for students that we honor and whatnot. It's a great patriotic program. So we have a lot of programs, almost too numerous to get into. But,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pints and Politics, we're here at VFW, Westhampton Beach, Bill Hughes, Southampton Town Republican Committee. Beautiful place to be. If you have any events coming up and you need somewhere to be in the town of Southampton, call this gentleman. Make sure to follow the link in the description of this video. Get with us. You should have been here if you wasn't here, right? We'll be here every Tuesday. Come down, have a glass of beer with us, have a cup of beer, have a conversation, meet some elected officials, some locals that are really concerned, and we'll get back with you guys. Pints and Politics, man. We're here.
Thank you, Raheem.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Brother, how are you, sir?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Yeah. So, we're out here, Pints and Politics, and I wanted the people to kind of understand when we talk about candidates in a position that deal with the law, that experience is important, right? So let the folks know a little bit about your background and what you've done.
My legal background is my first job. I was an assistant district attorney in Suffolk County. I prosecuted major crime cases, narcotics cases for about 7 years. Then I went over to the town attorney's office out in Westhampton, learned that aspect of the law, code enforcement, zoning, land use. So I feel my toolbox is pretty complete now. I have a criminal law background, town law background, and I'm also now in private practice for about 7 years, doing my own thing. I'm practicing Southampton Justice Court every week. I'm in there grinding it out with my clients. I think experience matters. Courtroom experience in particular for this particular job, which I have 18 years worth. Most of it in this particular court that I'm applying for this job in, and I think I can hit the ground running because of this experience I have.
How important is it, you think, for locals here in the town of Southampton to be involved and get out and vote this election?
Oh, it's very important. I mean, it's our American duty. It's our beautiful right we have to go out and vote. Pick our judges, our council people, our supervisors. As you're aware, I ran last year. I was unsuccessful, but it was a wonderful process to go through, and I learned a lot. And I respect our system of government more than ever.
Pat Gunn, how can they support the campaign? If you can let them know, like what's going on, what can we do to help out?
At this stage in my campaign, just tell your friends to vote for me if you're so inclined. Tell them about my experience. It's a very important job. There's 2 spots open this year, so you can vote for 2 candidates for judge. And again, look at the experience, look at what people are saying about their backgrounds. I think it's important. One of the unique perspectives I have is that I worked in this court as not only a prosecutor, but also as a defense attorney. So I have both sides of the case, and that's the kind of experience I would bring to bear. Having seen both sides of the equation, I think I would bring a good understanding of each case as a judge.
So I'm pretty sure somebody's going to watch this and say, well, how important are relationships? Having the experience that you have, how is it important that you have good relationships within the court system as well?
Certainly. I mean, I respect the court system. One thing in Southampton, we're one of the busiest justice courts in New York State. And having worked in there for 18 years, I understand the processes, the outcomes, what goes on in there. And like I said, I have good relationships with all the employees. They're all professionals. The judges that are there now, excellent judges all around. And just my ability to work in that court on a daily basis now will, I think, translate into an easy transition for me. An easier learning curve, so to speak, when I do get in there, if I'm so honored.
I am amazed. I am also exhausted.
That's fair, as you should be as a candidate.
I just had my first debate, put out 50 signs on Saturday, so I'm really enjoying the campaign process, meeting so many amazing people. It's just a very different experience for me, but I am really enjoying it.
Right. So for those who see this and don't know your background, right? You have a very interesting background, right? When people become candidates, their lives become a little more, what's the word here? Scrutinized? Examined?
I'm sure that's true.
You've probably been Googled a lot in the last...
And I am not looking to see how that is happening, so I'm sure it would be horrified, but I've been in Southampton for 30 years. I'm originally from Texas. My family is in oil and gas and medicine. I came to be in New York because I was recruited out of Conoco, their headquarters in Houston, Texas, to build risk management departments for Chase Manhattan Bank, and loved that part of the career, helping oil and gas and mining companies all over the world in their risk management process. But it's very active, aggressive kind of exchange. That's when you had phones in both ears versus just having the computer doing the work. And I had to seek balance elsewhere. I found Southampton, took up horseback riding in an English saddle versus a Western saddle. In an English saddle, you have to know how to ride.
Okay. So one day I have to tell you the horse riding story. What happened to my brother? Why you don't wear loose pants on the horse?
No, but I'm sure.
It didn't work. He lasted 45 minutes and told everybody he needed to go back inside.
And had to, yeah. No, you have to wear the proper clothing.
So then you know about good boots.
I do.
All
Yes,
right.
I know cowboy boots. I know riding boots, and I know polo boots.
So how do you identify good boots? I'm just curious. Is it the ostrich? Is it the alligator? What is the good
Well,
boot?
now cowboy boots can be all of the exotics, but your riding boots are black leather.
Okay.
Period. It's very regimented, and polo boots are also regimented. You can wear cowboy boots, but they typically the Argentinian boot is a zipper up the front, and they are typically kind of a tan.
Okay. So being from Texas, right? Does that having that background coming from Texas, moving here, right? Did that impact your political disposition at all? Because we all associate, and I know everybody's gonna say, do you associate Texas with Republicans? So is that just the natural progression, being from Texas, being a Republican, or is that something that took some work for you to come to that realization?
You know, it was for me personally, it was a natural progression. But I have to say, my mother was a Democrat. My brother is a Democrat. We don't discuss politics at Thanksgiving.
Okay, fair. That's probably a good thing, right?
My brother did raise his children to be Democrats, but once they went to work and paid taxes, they became Republicans. So again, we do not discuss politics at Thanksgiving.
No, that's the thing. So,
but Texas is a red state, and you know, we are very business oriented. We're also very volunteer oriented. We help each other build the houses. I mean, really, when you think about people who got in covered wagons and crossed the continent, I mean,
right,
we think it's a long flight. People who cross the continent, that's just a very different mentality. And you know, we built our own societies, our own homes, our own cultures. So you know, having an over amount of government control is not friendly.
Scott, we're here, man. We're having beer. We're talking politics.
I love it.
You know,
I love it. It's all good. You know.
How's the season been this year with fishing and the waterways and things of that
You know, the
nature?
season's been phenomenal for fishing, offshore fishing, inshore fishing. I got to tell you, epic is the word I'd like to describe the fishing.
Okay, epic is good.
You know, we got a little shutdown on our fishing tournament that I founded, as you know, for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Long Island. We had to shut down halfway through because we had a hurricane come chugging by. Luckily, it missed us, but we had to jump into precautionary measures because we always prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Luckily, we had the best scenario for us. But the fishing's been great, clamming's been great. Scallop season's not too good. That's a difficult and a disappointing situation right now.
Is there something that the moving forward the trustees can do to kind of help that?
We've always, everything that we do kind of helps that. We just got involved in a scallop reseeding program, and every permit that we work on is mindful of the environment. And we do invest generationally in shellfish sanctuaries for the benefit of filtering water and having sustainable shellfish. Some things Mother Nature throws at you are a little bit more difficult. But it sure is great to be sitting here with you, relaxing, sitting here in a relaxed forum.
Right. This is why you guys need to come down to Pints and Politics. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday in October. Candidates that are running, elected officials are here in the building with us. We're talking with Scott Horowitz. You want to support the Southampton Town GOP? We have a website, shtownGOP.com. How's this race been? This is your fourth term now?
This will be my fifth. I'm on my fourth term, and if I win, it'll be on my fifth term.
Right.
And I'm on a mission. For me, Raheem, I mean, if you watch me throughout the years, even before I was an elected official, I'm very grateful for how far I've come and where I've got in business and so forth. And I always believed it's better to see what you could do for somebody as opposed to somebody. If you have a skill set and you can solve some problems in your community, then you should step up and do that. And I've been involved at Big Brothers Big Sisters. I've been a homeowners association president for a long time. as I said before, I founded a fishing tournament to help out children in the community, and it's very fulfilling. And politics at this level is a lot different than the hyper-partisanship that you see at the national level. This is about local issues and local people coming together to try and solve problems and make it a better place. For me, I'm on a mission for the preservation of our waterways and our access to beaches, and to really keep Southampton town what we all gravitated to, and that is all the resources in the waterways. And we've been under a lot of pressure lately, especially since COVID.
Right.
All these people coming out from the west put a lot of pressure on our entire infrastructure, and that puts pressure on the waterways, puts pressure on the resources, and things have changed. And I'm trying to keep things, kind of preserved to the way they were, and keep people's attitudes being very respectful towards each other and the resources. And this is all good because education is a big important component of that. And a lot of deals are made on the golf course, a lot of discussions happen, I guess, in settings like this, and if people can, in a relaxed forum, sit and learn about issues and have input, and people that are elected officials in the community can take that thought process back and work with other elected officials. You can really institute positive change in your community. So people should come out, they should get energized, especially when there are things that bother them. There are a lot of issues that bother people, and sometimes, you can talk about these things and you can work through resolutions.
Right.
Instead of just sitting around and complaining about it, come out and try and do something. I'm a guy that's one of the most successful elected officials there is in the town. I take a lot of pride in listening to people and trying to figure out how we make it work for everyone. So I would love to sit here and have a cold beer with somebody and listen to what their issues and concerns are about. And not for nothing, but a lot of times people don't understand an issue, and you can clear up some misconceptions and whatnot, and it really is a good thing. So come on down.
You guys got to come down. We're going to be doing this every Tuesday. We're going to go to commercial. We'll be right back. You never know who else is going to be sitting here with us. Shouts out to the entire town of Southampton, the whole entire slate of candidates that's running this year. You're watching Pints of Politics. Southampton.
And I heard we might get pizza too, right?
Yeah, there's pizza coming. Watch. You'll see pizza. All right.